Hey everyone, welcome back to Black on the Platform Live, where we spotlight Black entrepreneurs, authors, and leaders who are moving the culture forward and making wellness, wealth, and wisdom more accessible to our communities. Hello, I see everyone in the chat. Welcome. So, today's guest is not only a friend of mine, but a powerful voice in the world of metabolic health. She's a certified keto coach, an advocate with Metabolic Terrain Institute of Health, and the author of Metabolic Mastery, a guide that's already changing lives. Her mission: helping women over 35 reclaim their energy, vitality, and confidence. Please welcome the amazing Riann Williams, also known as Your Keto Cousin on YouTube. Riann, I am thrilled to have you here. Before we jump in, how are you feeling about being here today?
Oh, Jen, thank you for having me. I am so excited to be here, and I am very proud of you and all of your accomplishments with Black on the Platform. And it has been amazing watching your vision come to life. And I know this is going to be an amazing place, an amazing community for all who join, all the business owners who join Black on the Platform. So I'm happy to be a part of your community. So thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I love that. And for those who don't know, Riann has been a huge supporter for me as I've gone through this journey of being an entrepreneur. She is my friend, my sister, and a true inspiration to me. And so it is my honor to bring you in today. Hello to everyone in the chat. I see all of you. Thank you for being here. Um, so let's dive right in. I know people are really excited about this topic. So I have my edition right here, my copy is right here, Metabolic Mastery. So what inspired you to write Metabolic Mastery and step into the world of coaching and content creation?
Well, I started with coaching, right? The book came after, and I got into actually health coaching after dealing with my own health issues. Um, I've always been very health conscious. I grew up with my grandmother. My grandmother raised me, my grandmother and my grandfather raised me. My grandmother was diabetic. And growing up as a little girl, I would wake up in the morning and see her in the kitchen, giving herself insulin shots in her stomach. And it terrified me.
Yeah.
I thought that getting old was like the scariest thing. And I imagine that being older or old meant like you were going to be sick and you're going to have to do all of these like scary things like stick needles in your belly. And so it made me want to be healthy. Like I was kind of always on a little mission to like be the healthy one in every group. So when I got to college, I became vegetarian and stayed vegetarian for many years, became vegan for like 9 years. I was vegetarian for like 12 or 13 years. And I thought I was healthy. I thought I was like doing the thing, right? And then my 30s came around. I had my son and I noticed some weight creeping on and wasn't feeling great, wasn't feeling my best, but not really like feeling terrible or feeling bad. But it was, you just had a kid. You're
Yeah,
probably
it's
more
normal.
tired,
Yeah.
right? It's a normal thing. I went to the doctor and they were like, "You're pre diabetic." I was like, "What? This
Knots and
cannot
needles.
be." I was like, "This cannot be. It cannot be." Like I'm like on the healthiest diet. I thought being vegan was like the healthiest thing that you could do. And I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken. So in my mind, my fix was to go deeper into like my diet, my vegetarian kind of vegan diet. And I started eating more fruit and having more smoothies and going kind of raw. And I felt worse. I felt
Exactly.
worse.
Yeah.
And so, really upset. I called my mom. My mom is an MD. She's not like into necessarily like a nutrition kind of doctor, but she knows a lot about nutrition. And I think at the time she might have been on like a paleo diet, but she recommended that I go and try a ketogenic diet. I had never heard of a keto diet before. And so, I was desperate. And so I did all the research. I remember like going deep into the research at the time, and the very next day I started. Like she said, do it, and I was like, done. So I got on it. Within a week, I felt amazing. A week, I felt amazing. So many things just clicked for me right away. And I got even deeper and deeper into it. And I went all in this kind of health space. And um, after doing it for many months, doing it for over a year, reversing my pre diabetic diagnosis, I was like, others need to know about this. Like, this is too good to keep to myself. And at the time, the keto diet wasn't like a hot topic as it became later on, like as I got into it some more. And I decided I'm going to get trained. I trained through Maria Emmerich's program and became a, certified keto coach and decided I wanted to help people. And so I began coaching. And now this is my side job because my full time job is I'm a teacher, right? And so now I'm doing this on the side. And it's a lot to manage all of these different personalities and issues. And it was a lot. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I can continue in the same vein of helping in this way. I needed to have another avenue for giving people, support. And I was like, well, what if I take all of my knowledge, all of the things that I've been doing that I see that actually move the needle in terms of metabolic health, and write a little book and make it like an accountability journal so that it's like they have a coach with them.
Yes,
So
and this is not a little book. This is a nice size book full of packed with information. So you mentioned your certification through Maria Emmerich's program,
mhm,
and you're also connected with the Metabolic Terrain Institute. How did
mhm.
that shape your approach with what you're doing with coaching and writing the book and everything?
So Maria Emmerich's program is a very strict version of a ketogenic diet. I like to say it's like doing keto the right way. She does a very clean style of the keto diet, and there are many ways that you will see on the internet that people do keto. Um, Oftentimes, people associate keto with eating nothing but like meat and cheese and lots of dairy and not necessarily healthier foods, because you might be eating a lot of packaged keto treats and things like that. And that's not how she approaches the ketogenic diet. And so I feel like I learned it the right way. I learned how to actually um, get healthy. I learned how to choose foods that are minimally processed and just as nature intended. Um, and I'm really happy that I went through her program compared to some of the other, the other people on the internet that are now doing keto coaching programs. So,
Well,
yeah.
I don't think I ever told you this, but I learned about keto from my little sister, Gina, who is also in the chat. So, hi to
Hi,
you,
Jana.
welcome. Yes, and she did, teach me some things, but why is it specifically women over 35 that you focus on, or that are important to the work you're doing?
So, over 35 is because was and am over 35. And I feel like oftentimes when we turn to getting help with our health, it's when we kind of hit some kind of wall. And I feel like women over 35 hit a wall when perimenopause starts creeping in, and you notice that you're just not able to keep the weight off as easily. Like all of a sudden something shifts and we're like, what's happening, right? And 35, you may not be experiencing perimenopause yet, but there is some sort of shift. It happened to me around that time.
Hmm.
And there's a shift in our hormones, and women are just, we're wired differently from men. And the way that we approach dieting and metabolic health has to be adjusted for women compared to men, I believe. And so part of it is just, this is the demographic that I see kind of is needing support the most. and it's where I am. So I'm like, women over 35 is my group.
I love that. And Mia wrote, our hormones start changing after 35, exactly.
Mhm.
And I see Gina said she did a very dirty keto diet. So you're right, there are those snacks, and really learning about the metabolism part is really
Yeah.
key. So if you've been confused about what I kept practicing metabolism because
Metabolism, your
it's
metabolic health.
metabolic, but it's metabolism.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you're confused about what metabolism actually is, type me in the chat so we know who we're talking to. Um, and one of the question, no, Kevin, is not just for women, because eating healthy and getting them the enough proteins, it's just that as a woman, she's speaking from that lens, but no, it's not just for women. And then
Absolutely not. We all
no,
need to take care of our metabolic health. Men, women,
exactly.
yes.
And Errol asked, is keto high protein, high fat? But you can answer that as you talk a little bit about metabolism and kind of help us get rid of some of our misconceptions and things.
Oh, okay. So when we're talking about your metabolic health or your metabolism, we're talking about how well your body makes and uses energy, right? So if you are metabolically healthy, you're going to have steady energy throughout the day. You're going to be able to maintain a steady weight and have better long term health. If you are metabolically unhealthy, you're probably experiencing fatigue throughout the day. Like you might hit noon and like, oh, right, you have your lunch and then there's a slump at like 2 o'clock. You might experience brain fog. You might have cravings all the time, right? You're starting to gain weight or you have already gained weight, and you might have a diagnosis of prediabetes or diabetes. So um, your metabolic health is I think probably the most important thing that you need to focus on when we talk about health. There are 5 markers that doctors look at when they are determining if you are metabolically healthy. We look at your waist size, your waist circumference. They would look at your blood sugar, your fasting blood glucose, or your A1C. They would look at your blood pressure, because high numbers are putting a strain on your heart, putting a strain on your blood vessels. They would look at your cholesterol, specifically your triglycerides, which mean if they're high, that means you have a lot of fat that's circulating in your bloodstream. And then they also look at your HDL, which is your good cholesterol. So that is what helps kind of clear the fat out of your bloodstream. So they look at those 5 areas. And if 3 or more of those areas are out of range, you have metabolic syndrome. You're basically at risk of disease. And this is really important because if you think about um, the diseases that we get when we are metabolically unhealthy, type 2 diabetes, cancer, which is a big one, and cancer rates are like skyrocketing right now, heart disease. Women are getting PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, hypertension. So these are some of the things that you might be plagued with if your metabolism is not regulated. So it's just really important that we tune in. And just to note, like some people are like, oh, that's not me, but there was a study that came out of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill that said that only 12% of American adults are metabolically healthy. That
Mm.
means 88% of us, right, are suffering from some sort of, you know, metabolic issue. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
So Kevin wrote, I think I'm experiencing manopause as well. I can't. Um, but this is a serious issue. So, all jokes aside, I have learned a lot from you as you have taught me about the healthy fats, the proteins. I know you eat a lot of eggs, and I think I associate eggs with cholesterol. How do you
Mm.
know you're walking the right line? I mean, do you constantly do blood work, or how do you check in with your your levels as you take on this new lifestyle, or those people who are watching, what would your advice be to them?
So you definitely should visit your doctor, right, regularly and get those markers checked. There is a misconception around cholesterol that, you know, has been debunked, that cholesterol is bad and, we should all be afraid of things like eggs. You're fine eating, quality proteins, eating your eggs. It's not something that I am concerned about. It's something that you should begin to do research. I think when you go down this vein, when you're like, I'm going to get healthy, you need to kind of do some research and find out more. Because there's a lot of conflicting information. There's a lot of things out there that can scare you to not wanting to take action. Um, but eggs are not going to be your problem. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Okay. Well, I was just curious. And for those who don't have their wonderful copy yet,
Uh-huh.
is there one simple strategy from your book that someone could start applying today?
A simple strategy. I would say, um, taking a look at increasing your protein. I think that that is an area that we don't eat enough protein in this country. I am surprised. You think, but American diet, we're eating like hamburgers and things like that, but we're not getting enough protein in. And I think an easy fix for a lot of people. I know that eating a standard American diet, when your blood sugars might be kind of on a roller coaster all day, what really helps is starting the day with lots of protein. And when you have your protein at a great level, right? So ideally, it varies based on your activity level, but I'd like to say 1 gram of protein per pound of your lean mass. So I'm about 130 pounds. You could go for 130 grams of protein a day. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but it's quite substantial amount of
That's a
protein. So
lot.
yeah, yeah. So when you start your day, split that up into three, and you start your day with 40, 50 grams of protein, um, you're not going to be hungry. So my breakfast looks like at least 4 eggs, 4 to 5 eggs. I add some kind of meat to that as well. So I might add in some sausage or some bacon or some, something else that I add with that, and then some vegetables. Um, I eat that in the mornings, and this is my breakfast every single day, right? I eat that in the mornings, and when lunchtime comes around, it's like, do I need to eat? Like, I'm not even thinking about food. There is no snacking in my day because I fill up first thing in the morning. So that would be the first tip that I think anybody can begin to implement. And I should also add, keep those carbs low in the morning. You don't need to have a bunch of carbohydrates first thing. Just focus on that protein. That's what I would
So
do.
I've been the recipient of one of Ryan's delicious breakfasts, and I can tell you that they are not lacking in any area. I think you put some avocado as healthy fats. Can you talk a little bit about what healthy fats our viewers can choose from instead of those keto snacks?
Yeah. So healthy fats would be things like avocado oil. You could use butter, coconut oil. Um, what else? Ghee. I really like ghee, tallow. Um, those would be considered healthy fats. We kind of want to stay away from, and this is also a controversial topic, but research is showing that seed oils, meaning seed oils come from vegetables like corn, um, canola, which comes from like the rape seed. Um, those should be avoided. Sunflower oil, it requires a lot of processing to actually extract the oils from these things. If you think about like corn, like you don't think of corn as like a greasy sort of fatty food, but they're able to extract oil from it, and the processing and things that go into that make it not the healthiest choice. So the oils that I mentioned before are the kinds of fats that you would want to consume. Healthy fats from like avocados would be awesome.
And I've heard that corn is actually something that we have difficulty digesting. And so staying away from corn too, not just
Yeah,
the oil from it, but corn
yeah.
itself,
Well,
right?
some people, well, on a ketogenic diet, you wouldn't be eating corn because there are no grains that are involved. We don't want to eat a lot of carbohydrates, and corn has a lot of carbs. But there are some inflammatory things that I think when ancient people used to eat corn or maize, they would treat it a certain way. And we've kind of lost those practices. They would like, I think it's called nixtamalize the corn, and they would mix it with, I think, lime and I'm not exactly sure the process, but the way that was processed, and there are some people that you can purchase like corn tortillas and things like that now that have gone through this process, and it helps remove some of the plant um, plant chemicals that can cause problems in our bodies. So if you are suffering from like lots of inflammation and things like that, you might want to stay away from grains like corn. Um, but it's not a part of a ketogenic diet usually.
So
Anyway.
speaking of not parts of the ketogenic diet, Mr. Riley asks, can I substitute the avocado with guacamole, asking for a friend,
Same thing, right? It's the same thing. Absolutely.
right?
Love me some
And
guac.
I think that sometimes it's easier to go for what's the snacks, but there are healthy choices that we can make. Um, and
Mhm.
hey, Terry, welcome. Um, so most corn today are GMOs, Natasha says. Yeah,
Mhm, that is
yeah.
true.
So it did take me a shift to start eating with the tips that you gave me, like going heavy on protein, even staying away from coffee past noon. I'm still working on that one. So, how does mindset play into lasting health transformation?
Mindset is huge. I feel like if you are not committed, a lot of the people that I coach, they are, how can I say this? They are focused on the weight, right? A lot
Hmm.
of people come to me and they're just like, I want to look good. And it's not about like actually being healthy. And they will say it, kind of like in passing. But I think you have to look at this from a perspective of I want to live my best life as long as I can and not have to be on medications or suffering from many of the ailments that are plaguing us in America. And I think looking at it from that lens and kind of shifting your mindset to food as nourishment instead of food for pleasure, food as a comforter, food, to kind of get through the day or food as reward. Um, it's going to help you make lasting change and not just choose a diet and then stick to it for a short period of time and then go back to your old ways. So mindset is huge. Mindset is huge.
So, for the busy women and men out there, what's one daily ritual that you swear by?
Daily ritual. So my favorite part of my morning is my golden milk tea. So I am always focused on like reducing inflammation. And inflammation is like a sneaky thing, right? It's something that you don't really notice sometimes that you're dealing with it. But if you're noticing things like bloating, right? You wake up bloated, you go to bed bloated, your face is puffy, you have swollen fingers, you're feeling stiff, your joints are, not feeling great when you wake up, you're having like breakouts and acne. All of that is a sign of inflammation. It's like your body is kind of screaming out, help. And a lot of times we just ignore it. It's like, you're like, yeah, I'm just bloated. And you have these things and we don't really address them. And they are signs that something is not right. And so one of the things that I try to work on a lot is managing my inflammation. And one of the ways that I do that is by making this golden milk tea. So this tea is made with turmeric. And turmeric has a compound, curcumin, that is known for lowering inflammation. And I add to it ginger. So I put fresh, chopped ginger. And all of this is going into like a pot right on the stove. I add cardamom, I add cinnamon, Ceylon cinnamon, cloves. A lot of these are great for reducing inflammation, great in dealing with, like, they have more antioxidants. And then I kind of boil all that together and add a little coconut milk, and that's my morning ritual.
I'm actually surprised that it's milk. I mean, it's not, because usually when they talk about inflammation, they say like veggies are really good for inflammation. Is
Well,
that
these are all plants, right? Turmeric, ginger, cardamom, cloves.
right?
They're all plant medicine.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and I make it with coconut milk.
I'm coming
So,
over for some tea, okay?
yeah,
Um,
anytime.
I see that Faith asked a question. Do you find that and this is kind of what I touched upon earlier, that your cholesterol levels elevate above the normal or recommended limits when eating this way?
No, not at all. My cholesterol has been perfect the whole time. Now, that's not the case for everyone, and that's why I say you do need to take a look at your levels and get a checkup. The cholesterol story is very complex. I don't think what we knew a long time ago about cholesterol actually applies today. Cholesterol is really important. Like, we need cholesterol in our bodies, and it has been demonized for so long. Um, so I would say, whatever diet you choose, um, visit your doctor, get your blood work done, keep your eye on those markers that I mentioned. They're really important markers. Yeah.
Awesome. So life gets hectic. I've tried. I try and I keep trying. How do you coach people to stay on track when motivation dips?
Oh, motivation is always going to dip. That's why you have to be tuned into your why, right? You're not going to be able to stay on, if you call it a diet, I'm on a diet, you're not going to be able to stay on that for long term. You really have to be tuned in to why you're doing it in the first place. And that's going to carry you through, because motivation doesn't last. It
I
just
like
doesn't.
that. So I would love if you drop in the chat what your why is so that we can help keep you accountable. For those of you interested in taking on this approach, what would your why be? And while our viewers are doing that, Gina asks, Ryan, do you cut out all dairy then?
Recently, I have cut out dairy for the most part. Every once in a while, I might get a slice of cheese on my burger, but day to day throughout a week, no, I don't eat dairy anymore. And I used to eat a lot of dairy on a keto diet, but it's just very inflammatory in my body. So no dairy for me.
All right, Mia's gonna go get some golden milk tea. She says it's amazing.
Yeah,
And
give it
I
a
have not tried it, so I can't wait to come and try it. Teresa says her why is being healthy. So it's not just about um, trying to be skinny, right? We also want to make sure we live long and healthy lives. I like that.
absolutely.
So I know we're getting close to our end here today. Um, so I just, any closing remarks before we end for today?
Well, I just want to say again, thank you so much for having me here. This has been great. And I am wishing you all the best with Black on the Platform.
Thank you.
Yes, I am so proud of you. I know I said that before, but I really am. You're doing great things. So keep it up.
Thank you, Ryan. So I'm going to drop Ryan's link to the Black on the Platform business directory has her um, Your Keto Cousin information there. You can reach out there. You can also check the show notes and see where to purchase her book, this wonderful book, Metabolic Mastery. I also want to encourage you, if you are ready to take on this way of living for health and wellness, go ahead and show some love in the chat and tell us what you're going to do or how you're going to implement this. I just dropped that link, and let's see, did I do that right? I think it's in there. Yes. All right. So thank you, Riann, for joining us. It has been a wonderful conversation. I feel motivated to eat healthy and be aware of what I'm consuming in my body. Community is everything here at Black on the Platform, and so having you be a part of this community is an honor and a privilege. And thank you for joining us. And until next time, stay bold, stay Black, and stay building. Thank
Bye.
you. Oh, I forgot one thing. Let me see if I have it here. There it is. Oh, no, that's not it. There it is. Thank you.